Okay, what we're going to have a look at is some basic distribution questions. So we've got this one here. We've found out that the weight of lemons is normally distributed with a mean of 140 grams and a standard of 13 grams. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off just by putting down, using the symbols to make sure that we know what that is. So our mean is 140 grams. And our standard deviation is 13 grams. Okay, so let's look at the first question here. We've got, what is the probability that a lemon weighs between 125 and 135 grams? Now the way that we write that is the probability that it's between 125 less than x, which is less than 135. Okay. Okay, first we go into stats mode. And then what we want to do is we're going to be doing a distribution, and we want to do a normal distribution. So I'm going to push distribution and then normal. Right? Now I've got three options here. For this one here, we want to know what it is within a range. Right? So it's an NCD. If we want to know one particular number, we'd use NPD. We don't actually use that very often with normal. The only two that we use very regularly is NCD and INVN, which is inverse normal. So we're going to go into NCD because we're wanting to find normal within a range. All right. Now, my one here is set up in list mode, which is what the calculators are at default. If you see this, you've just got to change the data from list to a variable. So I'm going to push F2 to get into variable mode. All right. Now here I want my lower. I want to be looking at between 125 and 135. That's all we're doing is we're putting in what we have as our lower and our upper. Now this symbol here, the sigma, is the standard deviation. So in this case it's 13, and the mu, which is that symbol there, is 140. And once we put that in, we just push execute, and we get our answer. So the probability is 0.22597, or in this case we're going to write 0.226. So the next question, what is the probability a lemon weighs less than 170 grams? Okay, this time we're wanting to find the probability that it's lower than 170. So we're going to go again into distribution, and then into normal, and then NCD. Right? It's already set up the same as it was from the last question, so we have lower at 125, upper at 135, but this time we're going to change this. Now we want it to be less than, we want to find less than 170, so our lower should actually be negative infinity. Now we can't do negative infinity, but we can do negative 9 times 10 to the power of 99. So negative 9e99, that's pretty close to negative infinity, as close as we're going to get on the calculator. Right? The upper is 170. Now some people for lower put in 0, but it's good not to do that. We want to put negative infinity, even though, or as close to negative infinity, even though it's impossible for a lemon to weigh less than 0. Normal distribution is a model, so sometimes there will be some answers that don't make total sense, but we need to include them. Right? Once we've done that, we push execute, and we see here we've got a probability of 0.989, 0.98949, so on. We will round this to 0.989 to 3 significant figures. Okay, so the next step that we do is 0.989. No. 0.989. Next question. What is the probability the lemon weighs more than 150 grams? This time we're looking at the probability that it is over 150. So again, we're going to go into distribution, then into normal, NCD, and once we're in here, our lower this time is going to be 150, and our 150, and our upper this time is going to be 9 exp 99. So again, that's as close to positive infinity as we can get. Execute twice, and we get 0.22087 or 0.221 to 3 significant figures. Okay. The final question, what proportion of lemons will weigh between 110 and 125 grams? Let's just fix that question up. Okay. 110 and 125. So again, we're going to go distribution, normal, NCD. For any of these working forwards question, we use NCD. All right, so we want 110, 125. Now, the only difference here is the word is proportion rather than probability. But it actually works out the same thing because the probability is the proportion. So here, the probability is 0.114, and that is the proportion of them that are over that weight. If we were to be told that there would be 1,000 lemons, how many would we expect to be in that rate? We'd just multiply that number by 1,000, so we'd expect 114 of them. All right, and that's a brief introduction to solving problems using normal distribution.